which has to do with removing a porch at the rear of a house on 61 Lookout Road. The homeowners are Philip and Brenda English. Alan Osgood is the agent. So, good evening.
Good evening. I'm Alan Osgood, representing Philip and Brenda English at 61 Lookout Road for additions and alterations, but we start with a demolition permit to remove an existing 12 by 18 sunroom/deck to the rear of the house. This addition was built in 2001. The main house was built circa 1977. The sunroom was built on top of a deck and is not really compliant with today's standards. So we'd like permission to remove that structure.
Motion to approve this.
I'd second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item is concerned with building an addition on the rear of the house at 61 Lookout Road. So it's an addition, the left rear side addition is about 20 by 34, and there's an addition on the right side, which is a garage, 12 by 24. And there'll be new siding and roof shingles, etc., to do a finished job. In the same house, Alan Osgood is here again.
Yes, we're seeking a certificate of appropriateness for two wood frame additions. As mentioned, 20 by 34 on the left side to the rear, and a 12 by 24 garage addition to the right side with reworked, renovated roof lines on the right side. All new composite windows with 2/1 lights, grills between the glass. There'll be new doors, the front and sides, and to the rear off a new patio, requested patio. The siding would be a double-dipped Maybeck cedar shingle, 5 inches to the weather. The color is gray. I do have a sample here.
That's on siding, yeah.
Yes. The plans that I presented to you, the scale plans, show each elevation existing and then what is proposed. Along with the siding would be new architectural grade asphalt shingles, certainteed Maury black. There is, with the new patio at grade, would be, we've requested a pergola in the rear and a new covered front entryway with flagstone sidewalks and reconfigured asphalt driveway. Also included with the application was a rough landscape plan showing proposed removal for some trees, which I noted in the neighborhood seems to be consistent with that neighborhood.
Are there any abutters present who would like to speak?
My name is Alma Jane Rodriguez. I am at 66 Lookout Road. And my only question is, on the left-hand side that's going back 35 feet, how much distance, because I haven't seen any pictures of this, from the houses, is there a 20-foot abutment on each side?
Yeah, there is the sides and the rear are 20 feet.
Okay.
That is the proposed bedroom addition, I think, that you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
20 by 34.
Okay.
Only 2 feet of it comes past the existing house.
Oh, okay.
And so the side setbacks for that addition are 41 and 46 respectively.
Okay, this one is right across from us, so that's...
Okay, that's the 12-foot garage addition. It's set back from the front, and that will be 42 feet.
Are they going to enter this way?
Yes, the driveway now enters this way
Right.
off of Lookout Road, and they'll just expand the driveway
Okay.
to include that new bay.
We just didn't understand this one because it seemed like it went back very far, but that's fine. That's not a problem. Okay.
Okay, yeah, and it's 31 feet from the side,
Okay.
rear side line.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I believe you have sample pages of flagstone walkways and lighting fixtures. And the only color is the front door, which is Covington blue, Benjamin Moore.
So this photograph here is to show us the landings up to the front porch? Those look
the-
like bluestone, right?
Yeah, the walkways would be the bluestone, the patio in the rear would be the bluestone.
Okay,
The steps in the rear would be granite bases with bluestone caps,
oh, in the rear, okay.
right? And the front covered portico,
Uh-huh,
they requested river rock bases
yeah,
and blue flagstone caps.
okay. We got river rock and granite treads, it says.
I'm sorry, granite.
Yeah,
Yes. River rock, on the front portico is river rock bases
Okay.
and granite treads. And that includes the basis for the pillars.
mm-hmm. Okay.
And there is a proposed granite light in the front.
Right,
The picture is confusing because it's a double picture. There'll only be one.
that's the one that's over underneath the
It-
dormer
it-
section here with the garage.
Yes, it's closer to the garage. It's just about,
Walkway?
it's just about where the walkway intersects with the driveway.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, it's an attractive plan.
Move to approve.
Quite different.
Second.
Yeah,
It'll be quite different,
Yes,
yeah. I mean, the before and after pictures,
yes.
that's good.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
aye. Very nice.
Thank you.
So,
You have something for me to sign?
we need you,
Thanks.
we need you to sign this.
That's where money goes. Okay.
Needs to the chairman.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just to say you're going to do it according to plan, and if they make any modifications to us, let us know in advance.
Yes.
Yeah. You win a couple of times, 3. And this is, you're going to demolish it.
All right.
It's oddly necessary, but it's gone, it's gone. Great, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
This one, this one. The next item is concerned with kind of reconstruction of a house on 36 Wharf Lane. It's in addition to the second floor to give living space there, additional living space. And it has balconies and third floor windows and a walkout deck. Lots of additional pizzazz. So Gene Bowden is the agent on this. East Coast Real Estate Investments is the owner. So,
Hi, nice, good evening.
good evening, Gene.
I am here for Carlos Figueria and for 36 Wharf Lane, and he's going to be remodeling and changing a home that's located there. And I think you have the before pictures too. And like you said, we're doing different various things, new doors, new garage doors that are like for like. They're changing, they're doing siding and changing the color of the doors. It's, complete facelift and change of the home. So here's the architect, because I think he can explain, this is Mr. McKenzie, to explain exactly what is going on there better than me, I think, if you have any questions, if you want to make your presentation.
Keith Mackenzie Betty, Cape Architecture, employed by Carlos and Marcus. They're a couple of cousins who are doing, this is their second ever investment, so it's very exciting times for them. Your description was lengthy. We're not doing too much to this house. It does have a dormer on the back, a shed dormer along the back, and we're repeating that on the front. And the choice on the front was whether to put doors on there, because it has a magnificent view across the marsh, so that you could spend some time on some small balconies at the front, or to put windows there. And our first choice was windows, and then we said, no, this view is marvelous. We really would like to open the doors and have the room go outside. There's no additional living space up on the second floor. It's already there. There's 2 bedrooms there. What we're doing is putting dormers on the front of them. There is no view out of those rooms at the moment towards the marsh, which is where the view is. So we're going to add some dormers to the front. We don't like the gable that's on the front there at the moment. It's kind of applied. So we'd like to put a little step in the dormer and take the dormer all the way to the front. And we've added a portico at the front. And then, if we want to see the sea, we have to go on the roof. And Carlos put a drone up there, and he tells me there's a view, and can I have a widow's walk, please? And so I said, sure, you can have a widow's walk. And so from the new master bedroom, there's a very precarious stair that winds its way up within the existing structure. It pops out of the roof. It's a flat roof light which opens, and then you can pop out onto the roof. And I'm told if you look to the rear and to the right, you can see the sea. I didn't see the drone footage myself.
Okay. Well, I don't need a drone. This is a bit much for this neighborhood. I think it's it looks like it should. I don't know why you're saving anything in the old house with this. The old house isn't historic, but I don't. This doesn't seem to fit in the neighborhood on Wharf Lane.
Is there anything particular that you're...
Well, it's pretty modern, first of all. These second floor balconies on the front are...
Yeah, the problem is, one of the problems is that the front of the house looks like the back of a house
right.
that you would envision, say,
Point.
looking over a Fallon's Pond or looking over a body of water where the house front
looking toward the view.
looks like a
Yeah.
conventional Cape Cod house, and the back has more windows than the front. And so this is completely turned around.
Right.
and,
As is the view.
comes off.
That's the point I'm making. The view is to the front of the house, not to the rear.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's
I know,
unfortunate.
but we're concerned with houses looking like.
We're
one
concerned with
expects
everyone
them
else's
to.
view of the house, basically.
They drive by and they say, wow, look at this, looks like a southern plantation.
Yeah.
And the Widow's Walk doesn't help.
No, it's, what's the pitch on this roof?
It's the existing.
Can't quite,
The roof hasn't changed, and the
it's
shed.
the same pitch?
Yeah, and the shed dormer matches the shed dormer on the rear.
Yeah, so
Absolutely
it's very low pitch because
I'd have to
it's a dormer, basically.
Oh,
And the floor space doesn't change that much except the useful space
right.
because it had a pitched roof.
Yeah,
So-
the knee wall, you would
It
go
was a
beyond the
knee
knee wall
wall.
now, yeah.
So it's a
that-
little bigger upstairs. I probably shouldn't have said add living space, but it was a little,
It does add more living space because you couldn't walk there before.
right.
You're right, it's the usable
Right.
space.
I mean, it adds a couple of hundred feet, square feet. But having these balconies across the front and just is not in keeping with any,
So balconies is your
Historic
issue, do you feel?
Well, yeah, I mean, the doors too,
yeah, it's,
I don't know,
So if we were to change from balconies and doors, and we just put a couple of windows in there, similar to the other windows, that would be more
if you're
where you...
so you're gonna take the balconies off?
I'm just having a discussion,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you didn't have the balconies, you would
Well,
still do
then,
the,
yeah, well, then you really need to change the pitch on the roof too. I'm not buying that flat roof. Are you sure this,
well, the problem, see, is
uh,
it's working from what was there, which,
well,
you know,
Kinda.
if you look at this one, John,
yeah,
you know,
I am. And
this
so
this is the back of it now,
this,
and, yeah,
existing,
yeah, and they just replicated it on the front. And keeping the roof sticking out about 4 feet, I guess, on each side.
That kind of bay that pushes at the front.
Right.
right.
So that gives you a pseudo steep roof, which looks like about a 10-inch pitch.
Okay.
But it's a necessary ingredient to have it showing on both sides like that. It gets a little
see what the side view is.
complicated because of the chimney, which,
I don't think, is that up to code? Does anyone, it's not high enough.
You
chimney's
can have a
not
flat
high
roof
enough.
if you want.
No.
There's nothing in the
No,
code
it's
about
gotta go up.
pitch.
That has to be higher.
Yeah, 3 feet above anything within 10 feet, typical. So we'd have to
You're
go
talking
up.
about the chimney now, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chimney is, yeah, I mean, it's not up
Yes.
to us to say that, but, well, I'm looking at it, and it's not,
Yeah.
it's
It
not
doesn't-
right.
I'm with you, it does appear low.
Yeah, well, it is too low.
The
by
current
code.
dormer was added without thinking about
Right.
the chimney, yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
It's probably a little higher.
Traditional height with the roof, how much higher will the proposed roof be than the existing roof?
Well, here's the.
Yeah, the
is.
existing's here.
This is existing.
The dormer, the front of the dormer is actually a little bit lower than the gable.
I think they have pictures, copies of that page, too.
Right, yes.
The front of it is just a little bit lower. It's in a different pitch. It's going in a different direction to the one previously.
Yeah.
And if you were to eliminate the balconies on the second floor and replace the proposed doors
Doors.
with windows,
Yeah,
then that would also change the roof?
no,
It doesn't change the roof, but taking Mr. Stewart's point, I think there might be an opportunity to just drop that eave a little bit. If it's just windows there, maybe we could do something with the header on the window where we actually sit the roof on it.
Well, yeah, a low post cape is built that way, right? The header goes right across the,
Yeah.
it's still, the pitch is not very attractive. And do we need 8 windows across the front on the first floor?
it's overkill.
These little windows.
Yeah, they're quite dark at the moment, those rooms. They're quite long and dark.
I'm not surprised, but I don't know what to call this house.
Well,
It's like,
if you put a triple window on the first floor, you could put a triple window above that on the second floor.
Yeah, but shorter, yes. Yeah, I
Right.
think you could, yes.
But lined up, basically, as often is done in two-story colonials.
Hmm.
oh, you mean, right next to each other?
No, above each other.
Yeah.
Mold three
instead of
together.
4, you mean,
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 3
Maybe
panels?
three on the bottom and then up above 3.
Wait, next to each other?
Yeah,
Okay.
That would make it shorter than the existing one, which is the same
Right.
size as the one I've put there with the 4 windows.
right,
So we make that window smaller
yep,
using just 3.
shorter.
Yeah.
Um,
And match it on the other side.
Right.
And then we could go with shorter windows up top. We've got our egress windows on the side of those bedrooms, which aren't compliant at the moment.
Right.
We're talking about an awful lot of changes here. I think I'd have to see this
Yeah,
redone
right,
rather than vote on it tonight.
yeah. I
If
think
we
Back
could,
and maybe
Um,
extend it.
yeah.
Continue it.
Anybody in butters here?
No.
Um,
There are
Butters,
two,
I don't think
are there 2 awning windows in the center upstairs?
Yes,
They're awning windows, aren't they?
they are. One lights up the staircase, so it makes it a little bit brighter. And then the other one is to a little dressing table area within the bedroom. But they're to match the entrance, just put some balance
Right.
above the entrance. 2 feet by 2 feet.
okay, but there is a letter here from an abutter. Did you get this copy of that, Richard?
I don't know if
Yeah, I was going to
Sorry?
read,
Oh, he's not an abutter?
not in the butter, he's down the street,
Oh, okay.
close to it. We have a member who lives close to this house. He's not here tonight, he's in Maine. But he looked over the plans, he's familiar with the property as it is, and he's lived there for many years. And his comment was that the proposed Widow's Walk, this is from Bob Wilkins, the proposed Widow's Walk would be especially egregious intrusion, as would the second-story balconies on the front facade. Said altogether, the design of the second floor is completely out of scale and dwarfs the first floor. I could list other objectionable proposed features, but the one cited he would not be able to vote if he was here, but he's not, so I'm reading this as a near neighbor who wanted to express his opinion.
Could I make a couple of bullet points, just of the things that you're drawing to our attention? And what was your feeling on the Widow's Walk?
It's, it looks out of place. It's it looks like it's just stuck on there. I mean, there's certainly houses with widow's walks, but they're more antique looking.
This is
And
kind
this.
of palatial.
We were being walked around by a realtor at the time, and the realtor said, "Oh, you need a widow's walk. Oh, you need balconies at the front. Oh, you need this." And I just got my list, and
Right.
I did what I was told.
Walk around with one of us the next time.
Absolutely.
Johnson, she's a designer, or he's a designer?
Yeah, everybody's a designer, unfortunately.
Of course.
Those of us who are trained to do it don't get the chance to do it, unfortunately.
I'm just curious about if they do the changes that you recommended. What about the little front door with the little portico top? Is that-
Portico, yeah,
Should be fine, right?
it would work. It kind of forces the issue on the windows above it look kind of out of place.
Yeah. It's,
So you don't like the awnings as well?
well, it's a little high, actually, isn't it? Isn't it, over the door?
Yeah,
Should maybe be
But-
brought down a little?
If you could bring down let's see, the ends of each end of the, this is complicated, isn't it?
There's a kind of step in the front elevation.
Yeah, that's, well, the roof should end level with the top of the door, let's put it that way. And you've got an arch, you can still keep your arch and still expose the entire door. And I think your light would be.
if it was lower the peak,
Yeah, just lower the
Yeah,
peak,
just
just
the
drop
whole
the whole
thing.
thing down.
right. That would open more space up above.
Right. For almost, larger windows, more, rather than
Yeah,
a
kind of
single, these are like single
narrower.
lights. It's a lot of changes.
So you'd like the two awnings gone as well? And then the balconies out and second floor doors out.
Right.
I'm afraid.
And you like the window styles on the rest of the house, the 6/1? Those are
6/1s,
wonderful.
they'll be all right.
Or, yeah,
And how about
a nice
the
improvement,
style of the
actually.
doors are fine?
yeah.
Front doors and
Uh-huh.
the
And
garage doors like
the
fully?
Yep.
door over on with the small dormer over it on the garage is a good touch.
That's a nice looking.
It is.
That
Yeah,
wasn't
I
the
see
real
how
thing.
you've mimicked it up over the entranceway, but the entry just looks too tall. The scale is just off to my eye.
Yeah,
I think if you lose the balconies, you're gonna go a long way towards making it look in more character with the neighborhood.
And I think the colors that we've picked out, the Buckland blue for the, and then we've got gray siding. I guess he really wanted Cape Cod gray. This might be a little bit lighter than that.
Oh,
But it's the Hardy, with the
hardy
think that'd
pine.
be
same
fine.
thing that I think the last person, it's like looks like wood with the,
Yeah, it's a hardy
I
pine.
love it.
Yeah,
So those are all things, and the weathered wood roof. is
Yeah.
Probably, so it's the colors are fine.
I think so.
Okay, so.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure of a solution for your widow's walk, though. I understand why they want it, but see if you can come up with a little different design, maybe.
I can come up with lots of different
Yeah, well,
designs.
Go around the neighborhood, yeah.
I don't get paid for those. I get
Look
paid
at
to
some
do what I'm
old,
told.
look at some old ones, rather than some of the newer houses down towards the bridge. You know?
Yes, absolutely.
some of the stuff
I
up
know
on
where you want to
6A.
be, and I'd be happy to deliver it to you. I have to
Yeah.
play negotiation now with my client and say, we
Okay.
really need to do it, and we need to get back here on the 26th and make
Right.
it happen.
Sure,
So will you continue it to the next meeting? Is that what
Certainly.
you do? And you can
Yeah.
redo it?
Great.
yeah.
Thank you for that.
And if you can't make it by that date, there's no problem going further, is there?
No, these guys really need to make it for the
If I can bring
26th.
in the plans, whenever you
Yeah.
get them, I can bring them
Yeah.
up to the time.
Okay.
Good.
Is that all right?
Thank you for that.
Good. All right, do we have a motion?
Right, move to continue?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for your time.
Good. Okay, the next item is concerned with putting 28 solar panels on the front roof of the house at 30 Ellis Circle. David Kuhn is the owner and Casalt Solar and Home, the agent.
Correct. That's not it,
No,
but we're going to reference that. That is a historical building. My name is Tim Sanborn. I run the solar division at Casalt Solar and Home, and this is Russell Casalt, one of the owners.
yep,
We're here to represent Mr. Kuhn tonight. He couldn't be here because of a travel engagement. As you all know, solar is everywhere. You don't have to go but 10 feet outside this door and look straight up and you see solar. We're trying to balance the new technology with preserving the aesthetics of homes and businesses. With the shutdown of the nuclear power plants, Pilgrim going offline, Seabrook's close to follow, the state of Massachusetts is faced with an incredible energy crisis that they have decided to share that growth in that development of renewable energy with homeowners and businesses. So currently, there's over 95,000 homes and businesses that have solar on them. So what we're trying to do today is trying to balance technology with maintaining the aesthetics of homes. As it becomes more specific to this jurisdiction and historical committees everywhere, you're very familiar with the Barnstable Unitarian the church that put solar on the Kings Highway facing. You also, in your own jurisdiction, have allowed it for a street-facing roof on 16 Green Teal Way. What we're trying to do is, because we're citizens of the community as well, we're based in Osterville, and we're trying to balance that new technology with the aesthetics. I call your attention to this historical home that we just finished up in Cape Ann, and what we were successful to do is to preserve the historical footprint of the house while bringing new technology in. This is a no rail, no footings. The footings are directly under those panels. And what we're able to do is decrease the profile and actually drop the elevation of those solar panels almost to the roof level, to follow the pitch of the roof. So you don't see the unsightly panels, the unsightly rails. All of our panels are black, so it looks a little bit like a black skylight. So that's what our balance is. That's what we're trying to do today. All of our panels are black on black. We'll see none of the unsightly white lines that you'd normally see or have seen in the panels that were installed by third-party ownerships, Free Solar, if you would. or commercial applications, they're residential applications. So what we're proposing is, and I think you have it, it's not drawn to scale, so I apologize, but it is going to be on the front, proposed. We'd like to put it on the front side of the home, again, using this profile and this technology. We are maintaining all the building codes that are out there. We are doing the 1-foot setback rule that prevails in Massachusetts currently. And I'm available to answer any questions. I think you're also aware, you may not be aware, but there's a state bill in the Senate right now in Massachusetts, 1957, which is going to mimic, intended to mimic the California rule that every new construction home in Massachusetts is going to have solar. So that's for new construction homes. Not germane to this point, but that's the pressure that is on the state of Massachusetts to find an alternative to fossil fuels and nuclear power. Questions? Any other comments?
Well, I wrote to the governor about
Thank you.
new home construction. And my suggestion was that the houses be oriented properly for maximum efficiency,
Thank you.
and pitch of the roof included. And that's not the same as what you just said, because that allows them to turn the house any way you want. And
You're familiar with Europe. Europe is exactly what you're speaking about. You can't build a home in Germany unless that is south-facing roof.
and they also have heat pumps,
Mm-hmm.
geothermal.
Yep. Which unfortunately is a large consumer of electricity. It's a great technology, but it does, those motors do have pull on a lot of consumption.
Yeah.
So
well,
solar blends very well with that technology. A lot of our clients are doing the new heat pump technology as well.
right.
The roof has already been replaced with a black shingle. I think we might have old pictures of the roof prior to us putting the roof on with a white shingle.
Right, so I'm sure no one on the panel disagrees with anything you've said, except for the fact that you're putting solar panels in the front of a roof facing the street, which generally,
There-
unless it's a dead-end street or
There
it's
are a couple
hidden, a screen somehow, then.
It is not on a main thoroughway, as you know, it's on a side street,
Right.
Yeah, we're aware. But
as is TOA.
I'm not familiar with that. I
There-
can't-
Yeah, there's panels on.
I'm sure you can cite other ones, but.
Can you got the picture of that one?
Yeah, but it's,
Here's the, this is the photos. I'm sorry, I only have a couple of photos. This is the one on
Uh-huh.
teal green line. You can see those, if you walk down that street, you can see those.
Yeah, there's quite a few you can kind of see, but not.
That one you can see quite well.
Okay.
This is a small ranch, it's not low-profile roof, small pitch, slight pitch, what, 4 on 12?
there is at least one house in this neighborhood which has them on the back of the house.
Yeah.
There are no houses in this area with them on the front of the house. They're small lots. The visibility going down the street is quite good, and all of the houses, you see them. Some of them are overgrown with trees and shrubs that are gotten out of hand. So those houses kind of disappear under the brush. But by and large, people have maintained their properties, and they're open. And when you get into this Ellis Circle area, you kind of zigzag around, and you go by a lot of houses. They all have similar architecture. low-pitch roofs. And these roofs are not ideal for solar.
I'd love to put it on the backside, but the productivity is it's remote. The productivity on that roof is remote on the north side.
Yeah,
As you know, you're well astute with the productivity factors.
Yeah, you reduce the efficiency.
Yeah, you're going to get productivity 3 months out of the year if it's on that north side.
Yeah,
Is there any possibility of ground-level solar panels on the property?
Not on that property, because of the foliage in the backyard. You'd have to remove quite a few trees. We do, that's another option we look at it quite often is ground mount opportunities.
yeah, and it's a problem because these are small lots.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you
Your
can't,
setbacks on
even if you took all the trees down in this lot, it'll be influenced by all the ones around as well.
and you have shading from the main house as well.
Yeah,
And your setbacks generally on ground mount throughout the state is 16 feet on either side. So you're going to shrink that footprint on that solar system significantly.
yeah. We had a house recently where they wanted to put them on the front of the house, and they ended up putting them on the back.
Yeah, there's,
Actually, after studying the property and all, I found that they would have been better off to put a tracking system on the corner of their property, which had a clear view, and they could have put 16 panels on the tracking system, and they would have had more than electricity that they were calling for.
the challenge we have with the tracking systems in the north of Virginia is ice. They freeze up here, and they just burn out the motors left and right. So we don't even do trackers in the north of Virginia. The industry just can't justify the maintenance of those. It's a great concept. But again, I just call attention to the creativity of Barnstable, and somewhere.
Oh, in the church?
The-
See, well, the church is an exception
Well,
to the rule.
the church is also a problem.
The church is, well,
Well, there's rails on that system, and we're proposing a low profile, no rails, just like this.
right. Well, I think the church is exempt from a lot of things because they're a church.
Well, no, it didn't.
This isn't a church.
No, but someone approved the Teal Green Way project, and that's totally visible from the street.
Don't know who did.
That's totally visible from the street, and that's
And that's actually on a tan roof. It stands out like a sore thumb.
yeah,
Well,
and that has more vehicle traffic than
that
Ellis
sounds
Circle.
unfortunate, but I didn't vote for it. So you're not proposing any screening, or, I mean, even at that, I don't agree with, we've been through this before, where people have planted arborvitaes that are, say, 8 feet tall, and then they die, and the neighbors are,
Well, there is foliage on each side of the road, each side of the property.
no, I'm talking from, this is a picture from the street, though, right?
Yeah, but
Yes.
if you look here in the satellite,
No, sorry, I can't vote in favor of something that is this obvious from the street.
if you look at the satellite photograph, there is foliage on both sides
Right.
of the driveway,
Like
which protects
Rich
the
is
view
here.
from,
Right.
you can protect the view from,
Does it?
you're only going to see those when you're looking directly at the house from the driveway.
This is the street,
Yeah.
okay? Well, I'm looking at the roof here from the street.
Yeah, my point is, you're protecting the vision. You won't see them if you're here or here. It's only when you're
I
directly,
know, yeah, I get
when
you,
you're direct straight on.
okay?
So they've done as good a job as they can protecting the frontage of the house.
I mean, aesthetically wise,
If it were-
it's gonna blend, because it's all black.
Yeah.
If you had bad vision, you probably wouldn't even notice it, because it's black on black.
Well,
And I equated a lot to like the skylight issue. You know, skylights 20, 25 years ago, people didn't want them. They became more and more prevalent.
That was unfortunate, too.
More and more
I have
people
to
want
agree with
them.
you.
And they're everywhere now, so,
That's, yeah, it's a shame.
I mean, Old Kings Highway was basically founded before we were a country, before they had electricity. So as progress changes, things have to change.
Well, this is, the act was 1973.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Has the board changed in the last, like, 5, 10 years? The members of the
Yeah,
board?
Sure, constantly.
changes all the time.
So it wouldn't be the same people that are out there right now that approve?
No, we had a fellow on the board 10 years ago. He would say okay to anything
But it's a
if it
majority,
was
correct?
going to save the world. You know.
But it would be a majority would have to.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but you need to come up and state your name and speak to a mic.
Oh,
Yeah,
Thank you. Sorry.
right.
Well, it has to be on the record.
It has to be on the
Sorry.
record.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering.
Are you in a butter, or,
No, I'm not.
oh, okay.
My name's Kendra McBride. I was just wondering if the board has changed in the last 5, 10 years?
Sure.
Sure.
And how many members of the board have changed?
Uh,
4,
Let's see.
3.
Yeah. How long have I been on this board?
4.
I think I've been here 5 years?
The two of you are new.
Yeah. Rich has been here for like 60 years.
60.
So the people who voted in Tail Way are not the same people that
Well, we're not governed by precedent on these. This is, we take each application
So
on its own
precedent would
merit.
never come into
No.
effect?
No.
Okay.
Thank you for trying.
Well, I don't-
Well,
You know, if
no one is not in favor of what you're talking about, but that's not why we're here. You know, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you completely about solar power and everything, but that's not why we sit here. It's unfortunate, but.
But you do have a balance, too, between, you know, 40A and 40C, you know, state statutes, right?
well,
You're familiar with
these-
40A and 40C?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if this was a 2-story colonial house with a low-pitched roof, you could put them on that, and if it had some other trees around as well, and they would be not very noticeable at all,
Right.
because you'd have to get in a plane to fly over it and really
Yeah, this
see
is,
it.
I don't know.
But in this case, you're talking about covering the entire front roof of the main house
Mhm.
with 28 solar panels.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Same
And-
exact design as that.
Right, yes, but one of the guidelines that we operate under is the minimum, that we have minimum visual impact on the surrounding neighborhood,
Yeah.
and this would certainly be,
And that's my,
So by doing the whole, basically mirroring the whole house and picture frame in it, it does not stand out. If you would only do half of it, it would look lousy. But because you basically build a rectangle on top of a rectangle, it tends to blend more with a easement around it even. It's like a picture frame. There's no other penetrations in the front, so it wouldn't be like there's a missing panel here or a jagged thing. It's a perfect, what was it, a 7x4 array of square solar. So, you know, that's the reason for it, because if you had only did part of it, then it would stand out. But by making it continuously and, you know, edge to edge with the setback, it's more uniform.
I think everyone understands what you're saying.
Yeah.
and just to Ms. Nichols, again, I maintain that the only neighbors that are going to see it are the folks directly in front of that house, because there's foliage on both sides of that home. You can't see that until you're standing in front of the house, right? And you've got the photographs right there. And I
As
don't know.
soon as another tornado comes through, they won't be there either.
No, right. That's the problem with screening.
Maintains wind loads.
Yeah.
That we have to hit structural.
Anyone
integrity.
else have any thoughts on this? No? I'm going to make a motion to deny.
second,
All in favor of denial?
Aye.
I,
Aye. for.
And is there an appeal process?
There is.
Where can I get information on that?
I don't have it with me right now, but I have it back in my office.
Okay. I'll have Deborah follow up with you, Beth.
Yes,
Thank you.
yep.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
need to give a reason for denial. And you need to give an official
Oh.
reason for the denial.
The visual impact on the neighborhood. And
So if we got
Other
the
things
neighbors
there.
to all sign that they would not be offended, would that,
it's not just a butters, it's the fact that it's a public way.
Yeah.
If you read the act, it's as seen from a public way. I mean, even Bass River is a public way, believe it or not.
The boats going up and down.
You know, it's, I live on Route 6A, I'd love to have solar panels in my house.
let's be a
Can't do it.
trailblazer, let's start here.
Yeah, all right, that's a good idea.
I mean, they have them on Brewster on 6A, so it's very
They what?
inconsistent on Brewster. On 6A and Brewster, there's a couple of structures that have panels facing
Yeah, I don't know how.
The campground.
Approved them.
the Dunkin' Donuts building.
Right.
There's a couple of them.
Yep.
Dunkin'
I'm aware of
Donuts
them.
building, which,
Yeah, there's Luke's.
Luke's Liquors.
Store.
yes, I saw that. I don't know how, that's not in Yarmouth. That's not, has
Oh,
nothing
I
to
know
do
it's a
with-
different town, but it is 6A.
Brewster.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying-
I don't know if that's part of the Old Kings, is
It is.
Brewster still in the Old Kings
Yes.
Highway
Oh, yeah.
District?
Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
yeah,
We've-
the
we've
6A
been-
is,
Yeah.
they reduced the
We've been to
area.
that jurisdiction
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Successfully, I might add.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have to write this up.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So, the next item is concerned with construction of a 10-by-14 shed at 7 Starbuck Lane. Paul McBride is the owner, and he's here this evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. So the house is part brick on the front
It is.
and what, clapboard?
That's vinyl, yes. Vinyl clap, which also matches the garage as well.
Let's see.
That particular area where the shed's located, just for knowledge, is not visible from any part of any street at this point. I do have some rather large Leland cypress that run along Union Street that protect that whole backside of my yard from street view.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's a nice shed.
yeah, I thought so too. And the gable facing the Victorian cottage style happens to mirror the image of the existing building as well.
Right.
I have gables, as you can see on the front of the building. That gable is actually a duplicate on the rear of that section. So it's almost like it was made for it.
Looks like it will be made for it.
It's,
These doors would be pointing at the pool?
yes, correct. There's actually two sets. There's also a set on the side of the shed that
Right.
would be facing Union Street as well.
Right.
Right.
They come as a standard double door set, and you can flip or reverse either side.
Are you going to use this for storage or for?
Yeah, mainly for storage for the pool and for the outdoor furniture, et cetera,
Oh, okay.
stuff
Yeah,
like
I was
that.
going
I've
to say,
al-
if you're going to use it as a pool shed, you should put like glass doors on there.
Well, there was thoughts of that, but with weather and, yeah, it's more going to be just for, I have, obviously, with a pool, a lot of pool furniture. So getting that stuff stored for the wintertime is becoming a little bit more of a project than need be.
Close it up.
I think this
Out of
is
sight.
nice. It's a nice.
Yeah, it looks
I
nice, but
would-
it's not visible from Union at
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
Right.
I didn't think you guys would have too much in the way of objection.
Do you happen to know
Check maybe
approximately when the
Mm-hmm.
Leland cypresses were?
Sliding on.
Oh, let's see, the first set I did
Oh, well.
when I moved in, I believe that was around 1997.
House has
And,
Curious, because
So this
They're
is.
thrown
huge.
in beautifully.
yeah, they're becoming a bit more of a chore than I had planned on originally, but that's okay. Grooming is becoming a big deal
I see.
now.
Right.
I gotta close the road down, we gotta get
House
police
is-
detail out there, and, yeah, it's becoming, but that's okay. I like the look of it, and I agree with the
It
whole,
can't be seen from the street,
It's the
though.
perfect screen. It
yes,
really
live
is.
fence, I agree with the whole theory.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know, I see what you're saying. So,
Keep it in.
so can you put some, instead of the whole thing being, is this, are you buying this, like?
Reed's
from-
Ferry is
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so it comes as a kit, or you're
Oh,
gonna bang
yeah,
it
the way I
together?
understand it with them is they build most of the walls and stuff off-site in
Yeah.
their New Hampshire location. They bring them down on trucks,
Right.
is what I've been told. I
Yeah.
haven't, I did have a brief discussion with them on the phone.
Panelized kind of thing.
So it's kind of a standardized set,
We have a thing about vinyl siding all around,
Yeah,
okay?
and I'd like to see it on the part that's really visible to where you're enjoying the pool and everything. And the other sides, same as in the house, are white cedar shingles.
Right,
So they'd be
Yeah.
more in keeping. And the roof shingles are probably similar to the house.
they are. They're architectural weather woods,
Oh,
which is what's on my existing structure.
Right, so it would tie in better, I think.
I didn't ask them about the option of changing product side to side as far as sidings. I don't know what their standard is as far as, I do know that they offer a siding. You can see in the brochure, there's some other pictures of sheds in there with what appears to be cedar shingles.
Yeah, sometimes they have,
Again, that was strictly leaving it that way because of the non-visibility factor, I mean, with the, I do
Yeah.
have a fence behind it,
yep, I
so
understand.
completely invisible from my abutters and completely visible from all roadways. So that's why I was hoping we could just kind of,
yeah.
leave the vinyl the way it was, just because of the visibility factor. I know that my house did have, obviously, my existing structure having cedars on it as well.
Right.
You know, again, with that visibility factor being a non-issue, I thought maybe it would be okay to leave that in that particular instance.
Yeah, if it could be seen, I think we'd want.
Right, and I agree with
cedar
that.
shingles, But I guess we can't really see it.
It's
True.
pretty invisible back there. It's, I've got, and we, as you can see on the photos, I think I gave you the color photos there that have, yeah. That back section, the trees that come over the top of my existing fence, really block out that whole Union Street side, along with those Leland cypress. On the Starbuck Lane side, completely invisible because my neighbor's property plus my existing garage and my neighbor's shed that exists on their property are all with tree lines, of course, as well as shrubbery and foliage.
Okay.
Yeah, this, I would think you could see it from over here, where the telephone pole is,
Oh,
straight through here.
I see. Okay.
I would just.
That one?
I would prefer that the cedar shingles on the side,
Okay. Facing the street?
yeah.
Yeah. Cedar shingles on, I don't have that photograph. I don't, yeah. Oh, this one, right, I see. So this is a street here. So that's telephone pole?
No, that telephone pole's on my property.
It's on your property?
Yes, it is. That was a additional pole that was put in for a power line that
Oh,
came for the
okay.
garage. In other words,
So-
that's a shed structure right there. Starbuck Lane is beyond those trees.
Beyond
and then-
these trees?
And through.
These are the trees that
What
are,
you can't see there is there's another shed right there. That's my neighbor's shed.
okay.
So, visible from the street is non-existent. Exactly.
So, all right.
That's why I was hoping we could forego that, not to be,
Yeah.
you know, non-compliant or anything like that. It's just completely invisible from all sections.
Right.
You can't, Starbuck Lane, if I was trying to show you, would be, my driveway ends at that telephone pole.
Okay.
Those trees are all on my neighbor's property, and I think you can just barely see a shed there. They also have a driveway in between there,
Oh.
and then the street.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
actually, on the other side of her driveway is another set of foliage, which is probably 20 to 25 feet tall. And those are arborvitaes, I believe.
Okay.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
So I do understand the concern, but I was hoping with obviously the zero visibility factor would
Yeah.
comply with it, you know, to keep you guys.
You're in compliance till the next tornado.
That's right. I don't want to see another one of those. I don't think anybody in town does.
And I will.
Quite a
vote-
quandary for a few days.
I'll vote to approve the application as presented.
Thank you, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very kindly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anything I need to sign for you guys?
Yes.
All righty.
Actually.
She says you're gonna build it according to plan.
Okay.
It's a nice plan.
Yeah.
It is.
Standard issue. That
pretty cool.
It's very,
Yeah,
you know
nice.
what I mean? I really liked it, the way it matched the building.
Yeah.
And the way everything comes together on it.
Good choice.
They get their money. And
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
cheap. But nothing is, so.
You noticed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Do I need a copy of any of that?
You'll get one.
Oh, okay.
You'll get one.
Yeah, Beth, you send all that stuff
Well,
out.
yeah, you'll come, yeah, I'll let you know what's ready, and you come get it on Wednesday.
Sure.
Good.
Anything else for me, folks?
That's it for tonight.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a nice night.
You
You
too.
too now. Okay.
That gets you guys out early.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Good night.
Take care.
Right.
Good luck with
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, much clearer.
Okay.
So there. Earth to Jane. Cool.
Okay, now we have to open this last one
Okay.
and then continue it. So the next item is concerned with a new single-family home with a two-car attached garage at 26 Minden Lane. The agent is Bob Dunphy. Current owner is Joyce Burse, and Ralph and Dawn Labriola are the potential buyers. So they will, Bob came in this morning, I was there at the time, and asked for us to continue it, because he's not quite ready. And they perhaps wanted to make some changes. So if we allow him,
Yeah, move to continue?
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Good. Okay. So that's it for tonight. Any new, is there minutes of the meeting from July?
Yeah, from July 8th. They were on the last agenda, but I think only one person that was at the meeting was here. So they didn't.
So how many do we have now?
No. Hold on.
Did you send them to me on the internet or
I
something?
did. I did.
'Cause I don't
Who was
recall.
here? Richard, Bob, and Rosemary
When did
were
when
at
did
that,
it-
were at the July 8th.
When did it go out?
I sent it for the meeting,
So it's on my
The July-
computer someplace.
Was it the
Hmm?
last meeting?
yeah, I sent it
Yeah.
for the last meeting,
Right.
yeah. It's all right, I can, you want to just table them until the next?
Well, so who was here for that one?
Richard, Bob, and Rosemary.
Yeah, so Bob will be back for the next meeting.
All right, we'll hold off till
Yeah,
next. Yeah, I didn't get any responses as far as anyone having issues with them,
No.
so, but you can hold off if you want, or you can approve them, it doesn't really matter.
You two can
I
approve.
don't know
Do
if I
we
read it.
do we need a quorum to approve?
I don't
You
know
do
if
need
I
a
read-
quorum
You don't
to
know if you
approve,
read them.
but you can also approve out of necessity. If you'd feel more comfortable waiting
Yeah,
till
why
next
don't you,
meeting, let's
okay,
do
wait
that.
till the next meeting.
Let's do that,
Um,
that's fine. Maybe I'll have another set
No,
sent out.
no, hold on. What's on that? Is that Katuitt Solar?
Oh,
Because their appeal is coming up the 27th.
No, they were at the July 22nd hearing. I haven't done their minutes yet.
no, whose appeal?
You haven't
Katuitt
heard about
Solar.
that yet. Yeah, Katuitt Solar is appealing.
The one on the 2 layers of roofs on the corner of George, what's his name?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Okay,
Everybody's appealing nowadays.
sure. Well,
We-
eventually,
I have an appeal tomorrow,
for solar panels?
a walkway on Scargo Lake to come down 90 feet from person's property.
Oh,
It's like
right.
280 feet long and goes down 90 feet so that they can get to the water.
It's a walkway or
go.
steps? Steps?
Steps,
It's a lot of steps.
It's a lot of steps.
yeah. And it's better to be steps because if you put a walkway, every time you walk down it, you shift all the dirt
Sure.
and it gets worse and worse and worse. The walkway stays put.
So there's an appeal of the,
So the Dennis Committee denied them,
right.
and so they're coming before the,
But
Regional
the
committee
appeal,
tomorrow.
but the application for our board was the house on the, at the intersection there
yeah,
with the 2
West
levels?
Yarmouth Road,
West Yarmouth
Right.
and White's Path.
Vice Path. Yep, so they're coming in. So all these guys, they're not giving up at all.
No,
Yeah, we should talk about this after. So,
well, we should have,
Are you going to table the minutes? So we'll table the minutes?
table the minutes.
Table the
Yeah.
minutes.
Move to table the minutes.
Second.
yeah. All in
Um,
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So if you want to have a discussion about how let's see, what's in the bulletin about solar panels?
I have
Well,
a
just
copy.
what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we should consider having maybe an executive session or something with the attorney about this. So,
Yeah.
to be
that's a
sure
good
we're
idea.
on
Just say-
legal grounds when I mean, we have to have, there are obvious reasons why we're denying it. I'm not sure, but we may be wording it incorrectly, that we could get tripped up on legal grounds.
No,
That we're not aware
the
of.
thing is that each one of these things comes before a board, whether it's in Dennis or Barnstable or ourselves, Brewster, and they're looked at specifically. And there are cases where, like the Lukes in Brewster,
Right.
it's very visible, there's no trees around.
I don't know
anywhere.
how did that get passed?
And they approved it. The church at Dennis, at the intersection of Old Bass River Road and 6A, there's a big church there, and they have solar panels on the
They do?
west-facing roof.
Oh, I never noticed those.
Well, luckily, they kind
Kind
of
of
blend
busy at
in.
that intersection.
They're dark, and the roof is dark.
Well, and the fellow who was here was citing on Route 6A, the church down in Barnstable Village, but
Now, that one is
that's an
another one.
exemption.
That's another one. And what happened there is that the guy who put that in got approved. The next job that he wanted to put in was blatant, right on 6A, like a billboard, a house 10 feet from the road. And it was a 160, 180-year-old house. And that got rejected by Barnstable.
But the church
But
was,
at the meeting where it was denied, the guy, the solar panel guy, argued that, well, you approved of the church for him.
mhm.
Now you're denying him on this other one. And the people on the committee said, we should never have approved it. We've had everybody and their brother complaining.
Right.
You shouldn't have approved it. And if it came up again, we wouldn't approve it. And the reason, he was such a pain in the neck and so pushy and everything,
The solar panel.
the solar
applicant.
panel applicant, that they gave in to him.
Oh. Well, that
And
was
then
a
he tried to
mistake.
get pushy at the next job too, and he got nowhere.
Well,
And so
I
let's go
don't
into
think
court.
being pushy breaks the law, though.
How visible are the panels on the church, on that church?
Oh, they're very
though?
visible.
They're visible.
But I was told by someone who was previously on that board, but not on the board at the time that that was approved, that they cited some law in Massachusetts that they were exempt from certain,
Because they're a church?
because they were a church.
No, no such law.
No such law?
No.
Okay.
But there are other places,
I don't
churches,
know how
that
Luke's,
they've gotten away with it in historic areas.
oh,
Well, I
And
think it's a good idea to have a consultation with our attorney. Set up
Yeah.
an executive session, because
Yeah.
right now,
Well-
both the application and the guidelines use the same verbiage
Right.
that we were quoting tonight.
right.
That's right. Yeah, but, he brought up the church, and I didn't want to say anything.
Well, the church isn't in Yarmouthport. It does that,
It's
it's
in-
not a precedent that, I'm not governed by precedent. I like the woman asked, does the board change? Yeah, the board changes,
Sure
and
does. Yeah.
people's opinions change, but it's not, you can't cite your opinion, right? Because you don't like the looks of something. It has to be grounded in the act.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, let's make sure we're doing it correctly, huh?
But
Because they're gonna keep, this is, it's, well, actually, the state, or is it federal money is gonna expire in November?
Oh, the rebates?
Yeah.
Yeah, tax credit.
yeah, the one-third tax cut.
Oh, yeah, no, because I went to, I ran into the fellow whose house that is, and he said, we cost him $10,000. I said, well, we didn't cost you anything. I said, no, wrong.
Yeah, you get a 30% tax rebate.
Right. Well, apparently that's going to expire.
Yeah, but they told me that 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's continued.
Well. Anyway,
So, anyway, we won't solve all the problems tonight, so we might as well adjourn.
so, Are we
Move to
done?
adjourn.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.